get bulky. What's up guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about why if you're a lady you should be training your upper body and if you're a guy you should be training your lower body. I want to put something out there because this is still a really big myth in female training, in female fitness. I've noticed it so much, and I notice it among my clients, particularly when they come to me and they say to me, oh Sophie, I want a nice bum, blah 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 blah, I don't mind getting muscle on my bum, but can we not train my upper body because I don't want it to get bulky? This is the very definition of fake news. So for instance, think about it this way, your body is a piece of clay, right? And you're looking in the mirror and you want to tone certain areas, you want to shape certain areas, and you're looking at it and thinking, right, what am I going to do? How am I going to achieve that? So for a lot of females, and this does not mean it is the majority, and of course different females have goals, they have different physiologies, they may have injuries, and all of these things obviously are client specific, individual specific, and that means they must be taken into account before embarking on a training routine and before you think, hey, you know what, maybe I will train upper body. Remember, take everything into account before you take on board what I'm going to say. A lot of girls have a certain body type goal. It tends to be right now in the whole vogue of Hourglass. Of course, I have to stress this is obviously not the majority of females. This is obviously not. And your taste will vary, your desire to look a certain way will vary, and therefore your training needs will vary. However, first of all, I just want to reassure people who even do touch a dumbbell to train upper body, your levels of testosterone, for the most part, and there will be, again, individuals and females who happen to be born with more testosterone, so they have to adapt their training style slightly. Anyway, you really do not have the same level of testosterone as a male, therefore doing the occasional lat pull down or face pulls or shoulder press is really not going to turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because for some reason, they seem to be fine doing squats and barbell hip thrusts and deadlifts, probably because they're thinking of Debunking. And even when you're training lower body, it's really hard to actually gain muscle and sculpt your butt and your legs. Because, especially for women, we tend to store more fat in our lower bodies and we tend to have awful blood flow circulation down there due to the lock and key hormone receptors. This is talked about more in Lyle Mcdonald's books, which I am happy to link down below in the description. And therefore we have to work really, really hard to even get a smidgen of testosterone and growth hormone and the benefits of weight training into those areas, whereas men find it a lot easier, and even then for men it is still hard. And so with this logic in mind, and you have to kind of try and think to yourself that this is science, this is evidence-based, and you kind of have to trust the process, because so many females who come to me and say they want an hourglass figure, they just neglect their upper body, and so what happens is they get kind of like a toned bum that, you know, is either more shapely or bigger or smaller, whatever their goals were, if they were fat, if they were losing fat, if they were bulking, whatever it may be, and they neglect their shoulders and their lats. Now why is this important? Well, the whole point of having an hourglass is literally this shape. So if you're neglecting your upper body, you're never going to get the illusion of having a small waist, and you're still not going to get that starting shape which creates the hourglass actual figure. Now obviously you're still going to get half the benefits, at least if you're training lower body, because if you're training legs and lower body, it tends to burn more calories. If you're trying to look out for fat loss and trying to watch what you're eating and what you're burning and basically trying to get smaller, then that actually really helps counterintuitively training legs, because they are your biggest joints, so you're going to be expending the most energy in your sessions with them. And because of that, you're probably going to lose weight. You can't pick where you lose fat, obviously, your body unfortunately doesn't spot reduce, but what you can do is you can eventually get to the point where you are losing fat of areas where you think, hey, I'm actually seeing a shape here. Now that of course is a useful tactic, but I would really recommend incorporating upper body into your workouts, even if it is just for aesthetic goals. In terms of functionality and how including upper body sessions into your training, there's going to be a huge improvement in your posture, which in itself makes you have a slimmer silhouette. It's going to reduce injury, it's going to increase mobility and flexibility. You're also going to be working those abs more, especially when you're doing, say, something like lats, which is obviously connected synergistically to the core muscles, and also even standing presses because you're using your core. So you are still getting a body workout and you're still burning calories and still toning. So if you're in a calorie deficit and you're thinking that upper body training is going to make you bulky, please don't listen to the lies. You get nice and lean and toned, and again, I say this all in a generic way of speaking. There are some clients who just don't like the look of having more trained upper body. They just want to have quite muscle-less arms, if that makes sense. Which is totally fine. Totally fine. You do you. But in terms of looking lean and toned, and you want to look like a bit more athletic up there, which I prefer personally, in my opinion, my personal taste, which will differ from every one of yours, I really like having better posture because I tend to slouch a lot more. I really like working my core through upper body, and I love the illusion of when I train my lats that I get a smaller waist. Now remember, if you're training upper body, you really want to be creating that muscle-mind connection, so you want to be training your lats properly and you want to be training your delts and shoulders appropriately, so you really get that illusion of shape. I think what girls tend to be frightened of is that they work their traps more than their shoulders or the lats. That's an issue of form rather than blaming the exercise or your training. So if you do feel like you're working your traps, always ask a personal trainer in the gym to just double check with the form. And if necessary, go down a weight so you really get the form and the movement right in the exercise. Don't ego lift. Most girls tend not to ego lift. It tends to be a male thing, sorry guys, because we're just too scared of getting bulky. So health reasons aside, training upper body for a female can actually kind of help you get your goals and look to your aesthetic best. Similarly for guys, training lower body has been shown to be hugely beneficial in other lifts and other areas. For instance, there was actually a study by Brett Contreras that demonstrated the benefits of hip thrusts for sprinting. Now, sprinting in itself is an amazing form of cardio for both men and women in terms of fat burning. So if you want to increase your performance levels in that regard, then you should be training your glutes and legs, because that will help with your cardio, and in return that will help keep you lean. Even if you're bulking, I still think it's important to do cardio for health reasons. In addition, you have the idea of aesthetics again, especially in male lifting. It just tends to be all over the shop. For instance, if you are lifting and training your legs properly, you'll actually have a symmetrical look. I know, it's fucking crazy, right? A guy with no chicken legs, it's insane. The one thing I will mention though is that there has been studies saying that the growth hormone increase in your squats and in your deadlifts that are performed can help go to other areas, so to speak, and flow in your blood and put muscle on there. That's simply not true. For instance, if you want bigger arms and you're doing classical deadlifts just because of the growth hormone, it's not going to help you. However, the classical deadlift, the actual move, will increase your strength, will increase your endurance, will get you fitter, will mean that you can increase your volume in the sessions for smaller, isolated movements. So it's definitely beneficial to do big compound lifts, work your leg muscles, your quads, your hamstrings and your glutes. So classical deadlifts and classical barbell squats will be your friend in helping you become a better athlete and getting to your goals. There are so many reasons why men should train lower body and girls should train upper body, but I wanted to keep this video kind of short and sweet. I know it's really not short and sweet, but I wanted to give you my basic opinion overview on why it's not a good idea to neglect certain areas of your body. It can actually increase your chances of injury and muscular imbalance, and actually, if I'm honest, it looks a bit weird. One half of your body looks trained and the other half doesn't. There are always ways of training your body and stimulating muscle without having to lift heavy or lift like a bodybuilder. The important thing is you actually just train. Not only should you be considering your aesthetic goals, but also you should kind of be thinking about how you're moving. Are you flexible? Are you happy? Are you healthy? Can you go up the stairs? Are you functional? All these things promoted through a culmination of smart training, not only just to look good, but also making sure that your whole body is working well. And I just don't think it's a good idea to completely neglect certain areas unless, of course, you have a history of injury in that area, your doctor specifies you shouldn't train that area. And of course, certain goals may mean that you don't train a certain area. For instance, I don't like training traps, don't want big traps, but that doesn't mean I can't train lats and shoulders to get that shape. So you just look at certain exercises and different ways of forms and variations of the movements, and you allocate them to your personal goals, and voila. So what do you guys think? Do you think guys should be training lower body? Do you think girls should be avoiding the weight room when it comes to upper body? Let me know your thoughts, let me know your personal experiences. I think it's an interesting topic. I think there's some social conditioning in there, but also there is definitely some science to suggest that it's better to train, and there's even some science to suggest that if you don't want bigger muscles in a certain area, you should stop training. So any questions? You know where to find me.